Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to this. This is going to be the third part of the backstory for the Reclamation of Florvex narrative campaign. Now, if you haven't seen the other battles yet, I'd encourage you to go back and take a look at the backstory for those, and also the missions themselves, because this is going to give away spoilers. So yeah, take a look at them first. But this is basically going to be where we're at in the campaign now. At the spaceport, the salamanders had succeeded in holding the bulk of the key infrastructure and were able to land the remainder of their forces, but the cost was high. Many of Third Company were killed or injured in the landing, and much of their armoured support was damaged. But worst of all was the death of Captain Agatone at the hands of the big mech Cogzag. Without the time to select a new captain, the company would be led in the interim by the most senior member of the Librarius present on Florvex, Epistolary Nouvoine. Nouvoine was an experienced warrior and knew that despite the losses, the Salamanders still had a duty to purge the alien menace from the world. Having seen the problems that small scouting groups had encountered, he opted for a more direct approach, a full-scale armoured advance towards Ork territory. Their initial target was a former industrial area about 30 kilometres north of the spaceport. The scanners in the port's command bunker suggested that this was the nearest concentration of Ork activity, but Nouvoine had another interest in the area. When he tried to get a feel for the area with his psychotelepathic senses, he encountered something clouding his vision. Rutar, a tech marine on attachment to Third Company, suggested that this may be the same thing causing the rise in plasma weapon failures that both sides were experiencing, but the old epistolary feared that it was something more sinister. The Orks had had a rough time of it as well. Although Cogzag had beaten Agatone in their personal fight, the Orks had failed to prevent the Space Marine landing, and Cogzag's favourite Gorkanaut had been reduced to a smouldering pile of scrap by a pair of dreadnoughts. Cogzag left the spaceport area, claiming he'd had the fight he wanted and needed to get back to his research. However, some of the other Orks saw this as retreat from the additional Salamander forces, and retreat was a sign of weakness. One in particular, biker boss Tough Ruck Crazy Wheels, reckoned he could do a better job as boss and was determined to prove it. Leading his force of speed freaks in an all-out attack on the Space Marines, he was going to show that he was the strongest, fastest and bestest biker boss around. As Nouvoine's convoy reached the target area, they were met head-on by Crazy Wheels speed freaks, and in the tight streets of the industrial sector, the flames of Vulcan's suns clashed with the choppers and raw aggression of the Orks. But as the two sides fought, each trying to eradicate the other from the area and gain the upper hand, two things became apparent. Firstly, Rutar had apparently found the source of the plasma failures. One building in the sector, a plasma power station, was emitting an excess of beta antiparticles that showed on his auspex, and the tech marine could see that this was what was causing the plasma weapons to overheat, short out and fail. Secondly, the clouding in Nouvoine's warp site was not coming from one source but many, spread out across the area like a shadow. Reports came in from the advanced elements of both the Salamander's forces of things moving in the shadows, but they seemed small and inconsequential compared to the larger Ork force approaching from the north. But then the first attacks happened. 6-limbed monsters with skin like dirty bone, armour the colour of blood, and claws as sharp as chainsaw teeth, charging out of the shadows and leaping out of ventilation ducts. Gene stealers. Apparently not all of Hive Fleet Kraken had been killed off by the Orks. The forces of the hive mind attacked both greenskins and Space Marines alike, indiscriminately killing both sides and preventing them from giving the main battle their full focus as they fought for supremacy. Okay, so I hope you like this little plot twist we've got in. The next mission is going to be a 1750 point Maelstrom of War mission, but with a few modifications. So we're going to use standard Dawn of War deployment, place 6 objectives out across the battlefield, and then every turn we're going to draw up to 3 cards, so that every turn each side will have 3 cards to try and achieve, and can discard one like the sort of the standard Maelstrom of War mission. And that is going to be the main criteria for victory, just straight up Maelstrom of War with objective cards, Slay the Warlord, First Blood and Linebreaker victory conditions. But the change comes in that from turn 2 onwards, I'm going to roll d3, and this is going to be before the Space Marine turn happens. So the Orcs have their turn, then there's this interlude before the Space Marine turn. I'm going to roll d3, and that's how many units of Gene Stealers will appear on the board. There's going to be 5 Gene Stealers in each unit, and they're going to be placed at randomly determined objectives. If a 5 or a 6 is rolled for the number, then the first unit to be placed will also contain a Broodlord. These units are going to count as arriving from reserve, so they're not going to be able to charge in the first turn, and they're going to be neutral, moving towards the closest target at the fastest rate possible. If they can charge, they're going to charge. If not, they're going to run, carrying on towards the closest target. So hopefully this should add a little bit of suitable chaos to the battle. We've got Space Marines fighting Orc Speed Freaks in a sort of a fight for supremacy for this area, but both of them having to deal with Gene Stealers. So it's going to add a nice random element to it. So the next video I'm going to put up is going to be the battle report of that. I hope you like it, and it's really going to set the stage for what's going to be following up, which is going to be the 4th and final mission in the Reclamation of Florvex campaign. See you soon. Bye.